Before I get into this video, I will be covering spoilers from the 4 canon novels about Thrawn and his appearances in the final 2 seasons of the Star Wars Rebels animated show. The 4 novels include his canon trilogy set right before and during Rebels, and the prequel book Chaos Rising, which is set during the Clone War. Also, I suggest that you catch up with the most recent Mandalorian episode before watching this video. Mith'raw'nuruodo, his core name Vuron, was born on the planet Rentor in the Chiss Ascendancy section of the Unknown Regions. The Chiss Ascendancy was a blue-skinned and red-eyed alien empire separate from the known galaxy. Families that were higher in the Chiss Ascendancy hierarchy could adopt a Chiss from another family if they showed great potential, making them a merit adoptive. Vuron excelled in his classes at a young age, and his intelligence caught the eye of the Mith family, which was one of the families a part of the 9-family ruling council of the Ascendancy. The Kivu family, which was a poorer family in the Ascendancy, thought it an honor for one of their own to be chosen and recognized by the Mith. Therefore, when Vuron was adopted by the Mith, he was renamed Mith'raw'nuruodo, with his new core name becoming Thrawn. As he rose through the Chiss ranks, his full name eventually became Mith'raw'nuruodo. Thrawn became an officer in the Chiss Defense Fleet, and because of his brash tactics, however brilliant and effective, he found himself making enemies in the other ruling families. Some opposed his tactics and sought to destroy his career for fear he would lead the Ascendancy into darkness, when in reality he was one of the very few Chiss wise enough to realize another alien threat approaching. Thrawn's goal was to identify the threat, draw them out of hiding, and eliminate them before it was too late. He identified threats and won battles by studying the art of other cultures in order to understand his enemy. By making correlations from his enemy's art with their battle tactics, Thrawn became a brilliant strategist. No one in the Ascendancy quite understood or cared about art like he did, which also made it easier for him to be singled out and ostracized by many of his own people. Toward the end of the Clone Wars that was ravaging the known galaxy, Thrawn ventured to the edge of Chiss space in an attempt to search for the alien threat to his new homeworld Scylla, where the Ascendancy's council ruled from. In an attempt at discovering more about the alien threat who planned on attacking the Chiss Empire, Thrawn encountered Jedi Knight Anakin Skywalker above the planet Batuu. Anakin had flown to the edge of his own galaxy and searched for his secret wife Padme Amidala, who had gone missing while searching for one of her own handmaidens named Duja. Thrawn and Anakin ended up working together and discovered a secret separatist droid facility that had been creating special droids that resisted lightsaber attacks with a rare metal called cortosis. After destroying the facility, Anakin let Thrawn take a large shield that they found in payment for helping him find Padme. Sometime after the end of the Clone Wars, according to Thrawn, he was sent by the Chiss ruling council to the known galaxy to possibly find out if the Empire was a threat to them. The Chiss presumably had heard of this Empire rising to power and thought it wise to align themselves with another powerful regime in case they needed them if their own ascendancy was threatened again. Thrawn spoke very little Galactic Basic and surrendered himself to the Empire. Using a language called Psi Beastie, an Imperial cadet named Eli Vanto communicated with Thrawn and began teaching him the ways of the Empire. Immediately after being discovered, the Emperor was contacted and Thrawn was ordered to appear before him. Anakin had told Palpatine about this Chiss during the Clone Wars, so Palpatine assumed Thrawn was the same one. Palpatine's interest in the Unknown Regions and Thrawn's willingness to provide information and serve within the Empire allowed the two to come together and form a close relationship. Thrawn vowed to honor Anakin's legacy and serve in his place after the Emperor told him that the Jedi Knight had died at the end of the war. Because of Thrawn's connections to the Emperor, he quickly rose through the Imperial ranks with the help of his friend Eli Vanto. Not only did Vanto help Thrawn speak fluent in Galactic Basic, he assisted in guiding him through the political spectrum of the Empire. Thrawn was, and always had been, a tactical genius, but even he admitted that he could never understand politics. Since the Empire mostly consisted of human officers, many looked down at Thrawn because he was an alien and happened to climb the ladders of the Empire with ease. Years later, Eli Vanto was temporarily sent to the Chiss Ascendancy while Thrawn became a Grand Admiral after his victory at the planet Bataan. About 3 years before the Battle of Yavin, the governor of Lothal named Arinda Price requested an admiral to deal with the rebels that had plagued her planet. Thrawn, now in charge of the 7th Fleet in the Imperial Navy, and Grand Admiral aboard his personal Star Destroyer named the Chimera, was sent to Price's aid. After several run-ins with the rebels of Lothal, Thrawn studied the art of Sabine Wren and the culture of Hera Syndulla to attack them personally and understand how they fought. He eventually discovered their hidden base on the planet Adalon and drove them from the planet. The only reason for their survival was the foolhardiness of Admiral Constantine, who disobeyed a direct order from Thrawn which allowed the blockade to open for the rebels to jump and gather reinforcements. Thrawn and his forces were attacked on the surface of Adalon by an unexpected and mysterious force being called the Bendu. Before disappearing, the Bendu told Thrawn that he saw Thrawn's fate and that many arms would surround him in a cold embrace. Directly after the rebels' escape off of Atollon due to the Bendu's interference, Thrawn was called back to Coruscant by the Emperor. The Emperor ignored Vader's frustration with Thrawn's failure to capture the rebels on Atollon and told them to work together and solve a disturbance in the Force on the planet Batuu. There, Vader and Thrawn discovered a new alien enemy called the Grisks. With Thrawn's tactical genius and Vader's Force sensitivity, they navigated through the unknown to defeat the Grisk threat. Thrawn recognized Vader and brought up that he had reminded him of Anakin from years ago. Vader refused to confirm or deny that Thrawn was right, and Thrawn agreed to never bring it up again, even though he most likely knew the truth. When Thrawn returned to Lothal, under a year before the Battle of Yavin, he began his focus on working on the TIE Defender project. TIE Defenders were new TIE variants with 3 wings, high firepower, and shields unlike the regular TIE fighters. Thrawn opposed Project Stardust, which was Orson Krennic's Death Star, and fought to prove that his TIE Defender project was more valuable. Tarkin informed Thrawn to join a meeting on Coruscant to explain to the Emperor the importance of the TIE Defender project. Unfortunately for Thrawn, when he was away from Lothal dealing with more of the Grisk threat, the fuel depot for his TIE Defender project was destroyed, therefore disabling and halting the project altogether. After dealing with the Grisks and rooting out an Imperial mole, the Emperor instructed Thrawn to pick up a piece of the Jedi Temple on Lothal and put it on his Star Destroyer to use it to lure out the Jedi Padawan Ezra Bridger, who was a part of Lothal's rebel cell. Thrawn bombarded the city of Lothal in an attempt to finally end Hera Syndulla's rebels. Ezra Bridger decided to surrender himself to Thrawn, and Thrawn brought him to a hologram of the Emperor in the temple. Ezra ended up destroying the temple's structure and attacked Thrawn's bridge. Ezra had planned to send out a unique signal to lure the space beings called Purgils that were known to jump into hyperspace. The Purgils caught Thrawn and his fleet off guard, and the tentacles of one of them surrounded Thrawn in a cold embrace, hearkening back to the Bendu's warning. Keeping the ship together with the Force and keeping Thrawn in the Purgils' grip, the Purgils latched themselves onto Thrawn's chimera and they jumped into hyperspace. And that was the last time we saw Thrawn. His and Ezra's whereabouts have been unknown and continue to be unknown. However, thanks to the recent episode of The Mandalorian, which is set around 9 years after the Purgils took them into hyperspace, Grand Admiral Thrawn was mentioned by Ahsoka Tano. Ahsoka is looking for Ezra at this time, but it is unclear if he has already been found in that 5-year time gap from Return of the Jedi, or has still been missing. I'm guessing Thrawn is back into the swing of things if Ahsoka already tracked down one of the people working for him. Only time, and Dave Filoni, will tell us the end of this story, and many of us are excited to find out what happened and what may yet happen to Grand Admiral Thrawn. So that'll do it for this video. Please leave a like if you enjoyed and subscribe to the channel for more character timelines and Star Wars content in general. Thanks for watching, and may the Force be with you.